Hello everyone and welcome to our Game Week 27 preview. I'm Chris, Kieran's here too. Hello.
You alright? How's it going?
Yeah, good. Quite fun tonight to do a bit of an off-the-cuff one because we've got a quick turnaround between Game Week 26 and Game Week 27. Tonight was our only time to record, so yeah, we hope you find this valuable and a quick turnaround. So we'll talk really briefly, shall we, about last game week before going into a bit of a team sort of fixture by fixture preview. Do you want to lead because you got more points than I did last game week?
Oh, did I? I didn't see your points. Okay. 82. Decently above average, but was a small red arrow of like 3k, which is fine, I guess, because people still had assistant managers active and stuff like that. So to have no chips active and get just a really small. I had a green last week in the double. Of like a small one as well, and then just a small red this week. With no chips active.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That's good.
I think. So Verbruggen, decent points. The end, 6 points. Obviously Trent coming in with the points.
Big points for him now as well.
Yeah. So that's good at least. And Mbeumo with the nice points as well. Mateta and obviously Isaac. Shame Wood had to go get a return. I thought Mateta would get some sort of differential points, but Wood keeps bringing me down.
Yeah.
The house and the Bournemouth clean sheet going, I feel like that they would have won that game without that red card. I don't really feel like it was a red card either. I think it was a bit harsh, but Clivert, Palmer, Rodgers, all those three mids doing nothing. My bench doing nothing as well. I decided not to sell Gakpo for Cunha, so Cunha would have been the move. I would have played Cunha, probably benched like Rodgers, I guess. So that is unfortunate, but I've at least rolled a transfer and Gakpo got minutes, which is good for hopefully for this week, plus Southampton at home after that. So I think they've looked, I think slightly worse without him in the team. So we'll see going forward if I want to keep him or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and obviously leading up to the double. How many? Not the double, the blank in 29. Are you starting to think about that as well? I'm just having a look how many players you've got blank, but it's not as many now actually.
Yeah, so I'll probably just roll a few until I need to do a few of those transfers, I would guess. I'm just looking at possibly is Gakpo versus getting Cunha in now, and then I'd probably sell. I guess Trent would probably be the other one I'd probably sell over that time. So definitely keep Salah, just bench him.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Similar really. Like you say, I had Wood, 76 points all out. But please, similar to you, I think I had about a 5k red arrow, but without having an assistant manager chip played, I think done okay. I've got two of green arrows in the week before and the week previous, so feel okay. That the game week was kind of boring for me really. All of my heavily owned players returned, so it was Trent, Salah, Mbeumo, and Isak and Wood. So there wasn't really anything too exciting. I kind of made the decision the only other player that got me points was Milenkovic, obviously with that headed goal on my bench. But I didn't fancy them to keep a clean sheet at Newcastle. And I was thinking Man United had been so bad. I was like, I'll play Malenko, which is rare for me to do a double defence. But that was fairly close to coming in. And you can't.
Yeah, when it went 2-0, I didn't think there'd be any chance of any points from or any goals from Man United. But
no,
unfortunate.
It was a poor showing up until that point. Well, let's have a quick look at the fixtures and just spitball over what we think might happen this game week. Let's see if I can get this to work. Un momento.
Should I talk about the first one anyway?
Sure.
Brighton versus Bournemouth. I've got Verbruggen. I'm not expecting a clean sheet here. We'll see what happens with their defence, Bournemouth's defence, and considering Zabani's out, who's played literally every single minute of their campaign so far, and he obviously misses 3 matches, so that's going to be quite a loss to them. Obviously Senesi's still not there, so I'm not really sure who's going to play that role alongside Howson or whatever it is. So Brighton could be in for a good chance to score a few goals again, and obviously Pedro being the sort of troll that he is now, a big sort of FPL troll now, isn't he? So he could once again provide some points because it's just sort of dropped into his lap of being this is a good fixture now, whereas before it didn't really look like one. I'm a bit worried about that. I wouldn't go back there too soon, but that's I'm just hoping like Cliver can start to do something. The
I
Bournemouth mids
know.
can start to do something because they looked so good before, and people were looking to double up on them, and some people have done that, and just I think Cliver's now blanked in 2 of the last 3,
Yeah.
so and then Semenyo I think has got like 1 blank or two in the last 3 or something like that, but yeah, they're not providing the points we expected from them considering that mauling of Forest and then those other teams, and they've just been destroying teams, haven't they? So they still got the good fixtures. Like Spurs away after this is good. Brentford at home, Ipswich at home, West Ham away, Fulham at home, Crystal Palace away. Like Man United home is also a good fixture. So they've got good fixtures until 34, and they play in 29, I believe, don't they? So So I'm just hoping they start to do something. Really, what do you think of them?
Yeah, I think the Bournemouth ones are. They're always going to share the points, but I think probably we pinned a lot of hopes on the game against Wolves being like a really good returner for them, and I sold Rodgers that week for Cliver. People have got Odango, but interestingly, Evan Nielsen was on the bench at the weekend, so he's probably back a little bit sooner than some people expected. So I wouldn't be surprised if like in a couple of weeks he starts playing again. But I think part of the reason they've been so popular is just because their fixtures for a long period of time now are good. I think there's always been the minutes with Cliver, and that was again at the weekend. Maybe they're due in part a little bit to the red card.
I wondered if he might stay on a bit longer just so they could try and get some chances, but no, it's still around the 76 point. He gets hooked.
He's been fairly consistent. To be honest, I think it's a tough game actually. On paper, maybe a few weeks ago, Brighton and Spurs, especially after that Brighton lost 7-0. And Spurs were having a bit of a wobble. This fixture patch looked quite good, but now Brighton have won back-to-back games, and Spurs I think have won 3 in a row as well. So they're obviously both back-to-back away from home before that juicy home game against Brentford in Gameweek 29. I think all of a sudden the fixtures, perhaps in the short term, don't look as golden, but they're pushing to try and get into Europe. So I think they really can't let up. And also, if you look at their fixtures, they've not lost many recently.
Yeah, assumably those 2 games should be quite open. Like I'm probably not expecting a clean sheet from Howson or from Bruggen. I mean, I've got both defenses there covered, which is not great, but nothing I can really do about it unless I play Robinson, I guess, or Mikalenko. But so I'm just hoping. I expect those 2 games to be open, and hopefully, those Bournemouth mids can do something.
Yeah.
And then against the Spurs team, who looks like they're getting a lot of sort of players back from injury and stuff now, and they're looking a lot better. Like Spencer's looking really good. Johnson 2 tap-ins I think it was as well again last week. So so Spurs are definitely looking better. Even Brentford, like they're probably not going to be good for the defensive side, and there's probably going to be goals in that game too. So hopefully just open games.
I agree. And just quickly, just on Jared Predley, you're right. Like he'd lost his place, he'd been dropped, they've been thrashed 7-0, and now Welbeck was out of the team for just some unknown injury, and he's just right back in there with a goal and assist. So I think a lot of people sold him this game week as well. So
a lot benched him too, I think. So
all right, let's go on to another fixture on Tuesday. So Palace against Villa. On the Palace side, I suppose for you, Mateta's just been doing really well. He's been just so consistent since you've had him. It feels like.
Yeah, I think I got him in 23. I think. You obviously blanked in that one, but then it came good for the 13 pointer, then the 7 and the 5. So he's returned. Other than that blank in Brentford, like before that, he returned 3 games before in a row before that. So since game week 20, he's been on fire. So he's got the skills as he showed from that assist at the weekend as well. So I didn't expect that from the big man, but I'm just happy to own him. Obviously, maybe I'll have to sell him. Over that 29 fixture, but I'm going to want him for Ipswich at home in 28. I'm going to want him for Southampton away in 30. So he's probably going to be one I'm just going to be benching, I guess. And I think it might be, Trent, as I say, that might be the one that would have to go. Sold. So,
What would you do if you're someone because I look at their next 2 fixtures and think, I haven't got a good third defensive option this game week, and they've got back-to-back decent home games against Villa and Ipswich, but I'd only have 3 blankers. I just don't know if it's too short term with a blank coming up to think, I want to pile in on those fixtures. It's tricky because not many teams at the moment have got 2 home games before the blank. I think it's them, who are in form. I think it's basically them. Chelsea have got 1, but obviously they're not in form. But it's an interesting dilemma there.
Yeah, you probably don't buy if you if unless you're free hitting, then you could do. But if you're not,
true.
then you're probably just don't bother. I would say. So yeah, hopefully that stays in my
favour.
in favor of me. He's under 10% owned still, but it's just the problem is that Wood is still just getting points and destroying me most weeks. And, the others like Cunha is getting points and hurting me, and it's just so it is Mateta doing enough at the moment, which is 7 and 5 over the last 2 weeks. It's not exactly game breaking. So yeah.
I'll tell you who has been a bit of a game breaker, who neither of us have, is Munoz. 13-1, 11-4, 6-6 in his last 6 game weeks. That's crazy. And then 3 attacking returns in that time.
Yeah, I talked about him at the start of the season, and I was just I thought he'd be a really good option. He's just one of those guys that I've just never gone to the bandwagons, and I don't know. When their good run of fixtures started, I didn't really trust their defense, and they weren't keeping many because you and me both had Henderson at the start of the season, I think.
And I'm just having a look now; they
atrocious.
were so
bad. So that kind of burned me, and I've been reluctant to get back on that defense. But yeah, Munoz. And he always looked good from an attacking perspective, but he's never actually cashed in. And this time, recently he actually is. So, fair play to the owners. Just, one of the guys I've just not got. But he's reaping the rewards, isn't he, recently?
And then briefly, what about Glasner as well? Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah, 20 points. That's not bad, is it? I kind of didn't really see that Fulham upset happening. I thought it'd be maybe like a draw or something. I didn't see them 100% winning. So fair play. I mean, I talked about going if I got slot in, I would probably go to Arteta for the safeness of that West Ham fixture, and just oh my god, people who did do that, then I think Arteta got 0 points, didn't he? So
no, that would be painful. That'd be painful.
That sucks. I think some people got
story as well. I saw.
Yeah, some people went McKenna as well. Those were really bad choices, unfortunately. That's the risk of chasing the table bonus, I guess. You either profit massively or you get screwed hugely. There's no floor almost in chasing the table bonus. It's profit or nothing.
Yeah, I think it's really, really tough on those people that didn't go for that. But fair play if you went for Glasner. I didn't see that coming at all.
I think some people who went Moyes to Emery to Glasner got roughly 56-ish points.
That's nice.
Over 3 odd weeks plus the doubles in there. That's probably one of the highest ceiling chips you can have. Bench boost is roughly usually around 15 to 20 tops.
Yeah.
Triple captain, if you get 1 goal, is 20-ish points or something, isn't it? That's 56 points is massive. I've seen other people managers with 300-point game weeks in a row with Emery and Glasner and all that, and Moyes and whoever else. So those people have absolutely hauled. I got 1 last week, and I've been far from 3. That's for sure. So people have been rocketing on it.
It does bode well that still obviously have it to play, and I feel like I'm quite happy at about 150k at the minute. Obviously it could have been a better season from the start, and perhaps Haaland over reliance, but I still think there's a good chance to get top 100k from here, and maybe higher.
I think so. I think you and me both have got the second wild card, the assistant manager, the free hit, and the bench boost left. So we've still got 4 chips. Wild card's not a chip, but 4 chips essentially to play, whereas others would be on 3 or less at this point.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about. I'm really hopeful after watching that Newcastle game yesterday. I'm really hoping for that back-to-back Newcastle double, because I think knowing what Newcastle are like at home, I think plenty of goals scored and plenty of wins as well. So they could be juicy. And then just really briefly on Villa, because I'm conscious that we don't want to spend too long talking about each fixture. Some of them will have less fantasy relevance, but I feel like a bit of a bailout on Villa for me. So I had Rodgers for the double, and I've already sold him to Cliver. And this week I was a bit disappointed with Watkins. I thought that home game against Chelsea was going to be good, and the fact that he was taken off at 1-1 with 15 minutes ago and they're still chasing the game, I was just a bit about that.
He had good chances as well. He had chances. Yeah.
And he could, one of those. And knowing what strikers have been like this season, it's nearly points. Their form is still really patchy. That Chelsea game was actually their first win in the last 6 for them, and they've got 2 away games now. Not the best. The away against Palace, we just mentioned they've been good defensively. Away against Brentford after that. So Watkins, I think, is probably going to be sold this week for me. And also ahead of his blank. So yeah.
So who are you getting? Cunha, probably?
It's going to be Cunha, yeah. Those
Yeah,
two home
okay.
games and Southampton in 29, which looks like a captainable game as well. I think
Yep.
it's going to be him.
Okay, makes sense.
Right, I don't think any more on Villa. Wolves against Fulham. Like I say, the only interest for me in this one, I think, is going to be Cunha, who's just been a beast, really, recently.
Mhm.
Obviously, perhaps a
Yep.
bit lucky this weekend, getting the, like you say, with the penalty, but even still, he's usually good for bonus. He played well in that Liverpool away game. Yeah, there's not much to not like about Cunha this season at like a pretty good price, 9.97 in his last 3 games, and yeah, back-to-back home games against Fulham and Everton, who've weren't that convincing defensively for both of them at the weekend, and then Southampton, who notoriously aren't. I think those look like 3 good games to lift them out of the danger area, basically.
So would you consider, like with me who's still got Gapco, would you sell Gapco for Cunha?
I don't know. I think you maybe. I mean, he's reliable and he's going to play 90 minutes, but then at the same time, if you want to target the fixtures, I'm just having a look at them. Southampton at home is obviously a good one. Newcastle, I mean, any team for Liverpool at the moment is good, considering what they just did to Man City.
Yeah.
So Gakpo was fairly decent before that, so there's probably not much in it.
It just depends. Like, is Gapco going to start the next game and the game after that? Like, they've got PSG in the Champions League coming up. I think it's in between. Is it in between Newcastle and Southampton?
Yeah,
possibly.
Yes, it is. 'Cause I think there's a big gap in the league. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's something I've certainly got to consider if I just do that move and just don't worry about it. Then I guess, but which I may end up doing, to be honest, because it's he only got about 10 minutes at the end, and if he is first choice, he's going to play those PSG games. So is he going to play that juicy Southampton game in 28? So
I think that's what you're essentially holding him for that Southampton game, and then if he does get reduced minutes in that, it would be frustrating. So yeah, tricky because he had been in decent form before that. You're right.
Yeah, and obviously I forgot that Isak's another one that's blanking. So I'm looking at I was thinking about keeping Mateta and Isak. Like, I've got 2 of those guys who are big blankets. So I'm probably going to have to move on Gakpo, I think, at this point. And then Trent, probably the other one. Then I keep Salah, Mateta, Isak on the bench. That seems okay, I guess. And then then the rest should play. Okay, fine.
Yeah, Harry in the chat.
Getting off fixtures a little bit.
Oh, that's all right. Harry in the chat says about he thinks Gakpo will start, needs the mins for Champions League, which I agree with as well. He said Real Swinging Gameweek got 92 with slot assistant manager. I think I guess that's last game. Oh no, it must have been this game week. Going Pereira this game week for final AM shot. I think that sounds good. Going for glory. I'm guessing he did Emery in 25 then.
Yeah.
I'm still a bit regretful, really. I didn't play it then a little bit last game week because I didn't have 3 Villa and I was on Emery for a while. But to be honest, I would have gone at Arteta this week for sure. So maybe I'm not that grateful for it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on again. And just talking about targeting Southampton, Chelsea have got them. Chelsea on a really bad run of form at the moment. And should we just talk briefly about Palmer? Like, he was so greedy. We were both talking about after watching the highlights, not passing numerous times, taking too many touches. Chelsea, and I mean 3 losses in 4. I mean, if you stretch it back even further, they've actually only won twice since when did they start their rough patch? I don't know. Let's say game week 17, they drew away against Everton, and since then they've only won twice. And he's only got 4 returns in nearly 10 in 9 game weeks.
Yeah, it's not good.
What's up with them at the moment? I suppose it's hard to say. But he's still getting the minutes.
Yeah, I mean, his stats are kind of a little bit all over the place. Like, shots wise, like, he's quite good still. Like, he's 4th overall for mids in the last 6 weeks. But then there's like big chances, like not in top 10. Like XG, not in top 10.
Yeah. And
then like key passes, where is he? He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th overall for mids. And then big chances created, 8th overall. I think it was on 4. And like, so, he's not exactly the premium that we were expecting over this run. And we've said that he's pretty much had good fixtures like until the end of the season. Most of his games have been totally fine to just have him. And just 1 assist in that time since 21 is not great, but like at the same time, like the thumbnail for this one says do form breed fixtures, and you target Southampton and you think Southampton are that bad that Palmer is at least vice captain, I would say, this week. So
for sure.
The next two, like the two teams giving up the most goals in the whole league, like Southampton and Leicester, both at home. Like surely there's points there for him, right? And would you consider not captaining Salah and going Palmer instead? I don't know.
I think the reason I'm not is just because in the flip of this fixture, we all captained Palmer for Southampton away when Salah had Newcastle away, and I think Salah got 2 goals in that one, and Palmer got an assist and 1 goal and came off in like the 78th minute. And I just think, given how good Salah is at the moment, it does make captaincy a bit uninteresting because he's just so reliable. Let me just have a quick look. He got 18 points in that away game. He got 18 points and Palmer got 7.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it'll be... Given how open Newcastle were second half against Forest, I kind of think is another... It's maybe not going to be a tighter game as it looks on paper. So, yeah, I think Salah.
And then, obviously, Salah will have Southampton 28 at home.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, you're going to go Salah there. But then Palmer has Leicester at home. So, there's a debate, but then it's Southampton for Salah at that point, so there is no debate really, is there?
No, and to be honest, I was also eyeing up. I mentioned to you, which like almost laughable, but like I was eyeing up maybe going for a Chelsea defender this week, given that I don't really have any good ones, and someone like Cucurella for Southampton and Leicester at home. But I don't even, after looking at their form, I don't even have like trust in their defense. Let me just have a quick look. So in the last, when was it, 23 to game week 26, the last 4 game weeks, their expected goals conceded is the second worst in the league before Southampton. So I saw that and I was just like, no thanks. I'm not even
and Cucurella's like, he's expensive. Like if you were going to go there, you'd probably go Colwill or something like that, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. I just think you'd play for the attacking threat against bad teams. But he's a lot more expensive. But they've only kept 4 clean sheets all season. I don't think he's got many attacking returns. But I looked at those 2 fixtures on paper and thinking, because I know I'm probably going to wildcard in game week 30 or 31. So it's not like he's a long-term pick. But he's just been...
What's Chelsea's fixture in 29? It's Arsenal away. So it's not great.
Yeah, but it's not a bad defensive one because Arsenal have got like no attacking players at the moment.
Yeah, true.
So it's not awful.
I don't mind it. You probably, you would just hope those next 2 just you get something, which you certainly could. So I don't mind it at all. It's just chasing the fixtures in that scenario of just like upside for attacking seems quite good.
I'd rather get like a second Chelsea like attacker, like Enzo maybe.
And Cuckoo. Anyone?
Cuckoo maybe.
No. There's just no point. Almost like maybe just go Neto. I think at the point. But you kind of just don't know who's going to start those wing positions every game. I feel like.
Harry makes another good point in the chat about Salah and captaining this week. If Salah's going to be 200% owned, there's can't go against it. Having one less Salah on the field can't do. Chelsea can score. Yeah,
I wouldn't expect he's going to be over 200% in this week because people are going to try and go different slightly, I think. So but he will be in 28.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's jump on to Wednesday. Some of these aren't as fantasy relevant, but Brentford against Everton, I don't think there's too much to say on that one. I think most people own him Buemo, and he got another like haul. Thought Wissa was a bit unlucky not to get that second assist.
I don't think he touched it.
Second assist, sorry.
So I don't
know. And then what's the others? Everton. Not really much to say. Beto's just like playing amazingly well. For people who've got him in the double, they're just absolutely feasting. Let's just have a quick look.
I mean, most people who've gone, if they did go on a Everton striker, they would have gone for Njai.
Yeah, true.
So anyone who went for Beto probably was only just because of money.
How many is he owned by? 4 points. I mean, look at the points. I just love it. 13, 8, 8, and 6. And they've got a juicy home fixture in 29 against... West Ham.
Maybe Man United should buy him.
Oh God, they could do it. They could do it literally anyone.
Yeah.
And talking about Man United, they've got. Unless is there any more you want to add on that Brentford Everton game?
No, not really. No.
And then Man United Ipswich, I haven't really got a whole heap to say about any of these two teams really. United are just
Ipswich win probably.
It could be. United are just woeful, aren't they? God, I had the misfortune. I just wanted to see. I haven't watched United in ages, so I was like, let's just tune in and see what they're like in this new system, and it's just like no energy. It's just no energy at all. And I appreciate they got like a maybe Ahmad makes all that difference, but Garnacho was on the bench. Like, Xerxes got no speed. Hoyle doesn't make any runs, and they're expecting all of their in-game creativity to come from the wing backs. One of them's Dallo, who's just not a wing back, and the other one's the young lad who you can't blame for. Yeah, it's just a shit show at the minute. So
and just Rashford getting 2 assists and looking like a pretty good player at Aston Villa. Just
I know, right? And Anthony's got 5 attacking returns in his 5 games for Betis.
It's probably just United, isn't it? And you see at that point, it's just the toxic. I think a lot of it is down to the fans of just being how pessimistic they are.
Oh yeah,
Well, it's just like there's just nothing is like positive about the club at all.
No.
Like nothing.
No.
Yeah.
And then after that on, also on Wednesday I should say, we got Forest against Arsenal, which I love because it's, Forest have they've lost a few games recently and they've not been that tight. But they were really good in that home game against Liverpool. And I kind of think they're going to revert to that type. I mean, look at the number of goals Forest have conceded recently. 5 against Bournemouth. They conceded 2 against Fulham, which I think was a bit of a surprise. And then 4 against Newcastle. And given how good... and they conceded 3 at home against Southampton. So, yeah, I think they're going through a bit of a blip since that great draw with Liverpool. And now they've got back-to-back home games against Arsenal and Man City, which is, super tough. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Yeah, I think Forest. I think Forest might win. To be honest, I think they'll just they'll turn up because there's not many attackers. I don't think they have to be worried by Marino and Trossard and Sterling and Nwaneri looked like he kind of tweaked his hamstring possibly. So they might be down another guy. So I just think Milenkovic clean sheet almost looks on. To be honest, I think they might need to. Arsenal might need to score from a set piece, but it seems like most teams have sort of figured them out from the set pieces at the moment. They haven't done particularly anything on set pieces for a while. So especially with the height of their centre backs for Forest, I feel like it's a good game for Forest and counter attacking football with Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi and Elanga. So
yeah, I think to be honest, they look bad on paper, the Arsenal Man City game, but I think both good games for, especially Man City game, good games for Chris Wood, because I think they like being the underdog. I think games where they're expected to win, they just find it a bit more of a struggle. But when they like being the underdog, they seem to perform quite well. But I'm not sure about you would start Milenkovic. I might start him for the goal threat, but that's why I was thinking about getting another defender this week who's got 2 back-to-back good games. But not sure. And then Arsenal are just a bit of a mixed bag at the minute. You're right, they got so many attackers out, and then the players that they are bringing in are getting injured anyway, like Nwaneri?
Nwaneri.
I just feel
it's like a silent N.
Yeah, I just think it's a really, really tough one.
Yeah.
Spurs Man City, a good one, but again, not real teams.
Spurs love playing Man City, so
yeah, they do. I think that's another Spurs win to make it 4 on a bounce. And interestingly, neither really are fantasy options at the minute because Haaland's out.
I think Marmoush looks great though. Yeah. He's really, really impressed me. He's looked really good. He generally has. There's he obviously got that hat trick, but there's more hauls coming. He looks great.
He did. He actually had a really nice finish in that Liverpool game that was just offside.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm just having a look who's actually well owned in the Spurs team from an FPL point of view. Porro's up, but still got 20% ownership somehow. All their mids are so 4.7% ownership for Son is the most. So I don't really think anyone's that fantasy relevant in the Spurs team at the minute.
Yeah, I think City, after Forest, I guess, probably is quite good fixtures.
Yeah.
Brighton, Leicester, Man United, Crystal Palace, Everton up until game week 33. So, Marmoush at that point, if Haaland's back, seems quite good.
Yeah.
I think Marmoush is going to play most of the minutes. It seems like wouldn't touch their defence at all because, there's just so many injuries still. Diaz was available, was on the bench, and he decided to play that Kusanov in a centre back position next to Ake. It's just what? It makes no sense. That does when Diaz is just sat on the bench. So Pep's just I don't know what he's doing with the defense right now, but I like the attacking options. Foden, I don't know, but Marmoush looks great.
I still don't trust them away from home. I feel like their heads go down. I'm just having a look at their form to see. Yeah, they've lost or not won in 3 of their last 4 away games. So I kind of think if Spurs get up a start, they'll win, and then I think they've got another. Oh, sorry. And then the next away game is that Forest game, which if
Mhm.
Haaland's out for that as well, don't mind the Forest clean sheet. I think a lot of people are banking a lot on game week 29, obviously, because they've got a fairly good looking home game against Brighton, and then if you don't wildcard in 30, they've got Leicester at home back to back after that. I agree. Like, I'm not really that sold on Haaland, but I would absolutely have some of Marmoush for those games.
Yeah, why not? Cheap, good. 7 million, like 7.1 if he's gone up at all.
Yeah, he has just gone up.
So why not?
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Is he a mid or a forward?
He's actually a forward.
Okay.
Which kind of makes
surprises
sense.
me a little bit, but yeah.
But that doesn't matter too much because Isak's going to miss. It's just whether you've got that much money built up in Isak that you don't want to get rid of or lose, really.
Yeah.
All right, and then last one on Wednesday is the big one, really, or the most fantasy relevant one. It's Liverpool against Newcastle, because I'd say that people probably own like 3 or 4 assets in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, which way do you think this is going to go? I mean, Liverpool have only lost once all season, so I think it'd be a surprise.
Yeah, I'd expect Liverpool to win. I probably don't expect a clean sheet. Isaac or whoever else gets a goal, Gordon maybe. So yeah, I think probably like 2-1 Liverpool, 3-1, something like that. I expect just Liverpool just roll on again, and Salah is just going to get another goal and assist probably, and everyone just be happy.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like a goal and assist and 3 bonus points, doesn't it? But
it does.
They were pretty poor away from home, considering how bad Man City were, and in between that Real Madrid game when they lost 4-0. So I don't know if that was a blip, why that happened. And like I say, they were a bit flaky against Forest last game week. Even though they started really well in that first half, the goal they conceded to go behind initially, and then they sort of let Forest back in the game. Their defence does not fill me with confidence at the moment. So yeah, I do think it's a good one to captain Salah in. And I do think it'll be a nice open game as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, would you like? You're going to play Trent, I assume. Yeah. I don't think many people are going to bench him for that.
I bet you're glad, because you nearly benched Trent this game week.
I was close to do it, but he was pretty much last minute. I put him in ahead of Robinson. Yeah, so that was definitely a good decision. Yeah.
And then finally, West Ham against Leicester. And Harry's mentioned in the chat his thoughts on Bowen. I think he's been really good recently. I'll just have a quick look. And obviously they've scored that great diving header winning goal against Arsenal. They've got a decent game in game week 29 against Everton away, which isn't bad at all. We had 2 returns in the last 3 for Bowen, but then before that, he's just come back from injury. So yeah. Not bad, both away from home as well. It's
a shame he wasn't just a little bit cheaper. Like he'd be easier to get to from someone like Rodgers.
Yeah,
I'd love to go from Rodgers up to Bowen, but obviously, that's a long way, 2 odd million, isn't it? So, there's nothing wrong with going Bowen at the moment. Like those are good fixtures for the time being. They're looking better every week, and this week is a prime fixture. So. Yeah, I can see him getting a goal assist like Salah this week.
God. All right. What about this then? Because I'm not convinced quite yet on Cliver away from home in these. I've only just bought him. Maybe that was a bit short-sighted of me.
Yeah, tell you what, I just think he's not been great, has he? Yeah.
Oh man, I could sell Cliver this week because I've still got 2 free transfers and get that Leicester and Newcastle home game from Bowen. That seems quite good, to be honest. Might have a think about that.
Don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it either.
Sell Palmer to game? No.
Maybe. Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Probably people are considering Palmer out, aren't they, at this point? But these 2 next 2 home games, just like no, can't do it.
That would also make me interested in. This is not a fantasy rule to play by, but it would make the Thursday game interesting because I'd have a player in that one. Yeah, I don't mind selling.
Yeah, Harry's saying Paqueta's injured, so he should be on penalties. And Kudus looked pretty good in that game too, so they're starting to get something going, it looks like, at the moment, West Ham.
Let's have a quick look at their team numbers. XG in last 4 games maybe? Oh, then.
It's a shame Kudus has not been a decent fantasy option this year, because he's such a good player. But
3 goals in their last 4 games. Who have they played? We're probably going a bit too much into West Ham here. Arsenal, Chelsea, Aston Villa all away, so maybe that's not a surprise. And Brentford at home. Yeah.
What was the fixture in 29? Did you say?
Everton away.
Okay.
So again, not bad.
And then what's his ownership?
Probably low, 4.6%. It's the same as Son.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
He's just like, if you can afford to go there and not sell someone like Palmer or Bramo or someone like that, then yeah, there doesn't seem to be any downside to just doing that.
I think they I've just remembered now as well. They lost their away game against Leicester. Do you remember that? And the manager got sacked off the back of that, didn't he?
Was it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because didn't Bowen have like a really... Yeah, I'm just having a look at his numbers now. He had 0.53 XG that game and 1.09 XA. So he had, expected goal involvement of 1.6, which is criminally high.
And still blanked.
Yeah. Bowen's quite an interesting shout, actually. Maybe I should be patient with my Bournemouth players, though. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it just takes one penalty for Kluivert
to return.
Yeah.
And then Leicester, absolutely nothing to say about them, really, because just woeful as well, aren't they?
If you went for Van Nistelrooy, then shame on you.
I saw those people, because I didn't really check on X or Blue Sky until like after the deadline. Everyone was just like, good luck, Van Nistelrooy. And there's just like loads of them. Their form is just so bad. I'm trying to see how many games in a row they've lost now. Lots. Yeah. Oh, God, it's bad. Yeah, makes me kind of interested in Bowen, I have to say. But then is it a bit short-sighted just to get him for 2 games when the Bournemouth player is probably equally as good? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I could do it is selling Gapco for someone a lot cheaper, or selling Isak for someone a lot cheaper. But and then taking Rodgers up to Bowen. But just like a cheaper sort of player at the moment, Raul. He's top of shots at the moment the last 6 weeks. Like, it doesn't say much, but he's cheap. I think Fulham blanking 29. They're not right.
No, I think
they
they're
got
playing
Spurs
Spurs,
at home.
maybe.
So it's not the worst. Like, yeah.
Cool. All right. I think that wraps it up. To be honest, that's all the fixtures from this game week. Tomorrow night until Thursday. Harry said, "Talk about something after the show." What did he say?
I think it was
answer at the end. Oh yeah, dilemma. The only dilemma is to start Verbruggen or Pickford.
Yeah, I said Pickford, but who Everton got again? Brentford. Yeah, it remains to be seen, like Zabani out and how that affects Bournemouth. But I don't think it should affect attack. You don't think, but so I don't think clean sheets are likely for either of them. But then he says he's got Wissa as well. So yeah, I don't know.
That's close.
Unfortunately,
isn't it? Yeah,
it's tough. Then he said, "Is Nwaneri to Bowen for a hit worth it? We'll bench a Bournemouth mid."
Yeah, I don't know.
Which mid? Bournemouth mid?
No, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably keep my Bournemouth mids, to be honest. I've not for a hit. No way. I think you'd be really irritated if they returned.
Buy Bowen or Bremo, own Visser. Probably go Bowen. Why not?
Yeah.
He's going to be on pens as well.
It's hard for us to say because of how short term it is, but Brentford have also got some good fixtures. I think they've got Everton, and maybe they've got another home game after that. So, and I love Mbeumo, so just because he's
they're probably both good. And Mbeumo is like higher ownership thing. You're not going to get too much rank movement out of him doing well, but at the same time you'll cover him. You won't go down in rank if you own him. So yeah.
All right, should we show our teams?
Yeah.
It's probably not that exciting. For some reason your camera's gone on. Let me see if I can get that back.
Yeah. Who cares?
There we go. Here we go. Oh, you can do your team first. Why not?
All right. Yeah. So at the moment, obviously playing Verbruggen. I would have liked to have played Fabianski if he's still in the team, but he is not, alas. But Verbruggen, Bournemouth at home. Yeah. Trent at the moment starting. Howson at the moment against Bournemouth is starting. I could start Robinson. I could start Mikolenko. I'm not sure. I might go Robinson over Howson, just because I think it's probably more likely they'll keep a clean sheet. Wolves have only really got Cunha as a threat, whereas Brighton have got a good few like Matoma and Pedro and whoever else. Gabriel obviously starting. Salah captain at the moment, Cliver, Mbeumo, Palmer, and then Gakpo is starting at the moment over Mateta and Isak. I may just do the Gakpo to Cunha move this week, and then I'd be worried about starting Robinson at that point. So then I'd probably just play Howson. So I don't know. I would like to get Bowen, but there doesn't really seem to be any way for me to do that because I've only got 0.4 in the bank, unless I sell Isak, which doesn't seem great.
No.
But I don't have that much funds in him. I think I bought him a bit later than everyone else. I've got 0.3 in him, so yeah, that would take up a chunk of my budget, or that I have in the bank anyway. So I could just roll, or I could just do the Cunha move. So we'll see.
Yeah, tricky. Yeah, I just think the team looks fine, to be honest, this game week, and doesn't really need anything. How many free transfers did you say you got? Sorry, just one.
I've got 2.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 because I rolled last week.
And you still need to get rid of 4, or you've got 4 that are blanking basically, which is fine because that means you can solve it that game week, can't you? Because you only need one free transfer. So yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, cool. And obviously Salah captain, Palmer vice.
Yes, at the moment. Todd's saying going to start Fabianski off chance he starts. So
Getting Pickford to come off the bench.
Yeah, why not? I might do that as well.
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
a nice idea. Yeah, hadn't really thought about that. Look at that. So I just had a quick look at the captaincy poll. So 75% of people have said Salah. So even with Palmer at home, so I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, the talk about form breeding fixtures fixtures breeding form will be right in the forefront this week of just like, is it going to help Palmer to get form? Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I like it. And on my team, fairly similar. I like the idea of starting Fabianski against Leicester, even though it probably won't come off. Bench looks a bit depleted at the moment because Bednarak's red flagged. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think he got injured. He went off quite early in that last game.
That's because he's a potential Game Week 29 player. So at the moment, I've got 3 players who were playing in Game Week 29, although 2 of them were Dibbling and Bednarak. I might look at seeing if I can sort a defender or midfielder. I got 2 free transfers. I'll just go for it. Pickford in goal. So I'm starting Milenkovic just because I think Arsenal haven't got that good an attack at the minute, and I can't see them scoring more than 1 against Forest because Liverpool couldn't. Cliver, Salah captain, Palmer vice, and Mbeumo. Watkins, who'll become Cunha this game week. Wood, and then Isak as well. So, fairly similar. But yeah, Cunha I think is the transfer for Watkins, which seems a bit funny on paper because it just seems like there's nothing wrong with Watkins. But the minutes kind of dropped off last game week. Villa a bit meh at the moment with Champions League as well. And Cunha has that game in 29 and the 2 nice looking home games now. So let's go there.
Yeah, I think we're going to start to look quite similar with the blank coming up. Teams are going to look pretty similar because I may go to Cunha as well, and yeah,
and then like I said, I've got the second free transfer, so I don't know how much money actually at the moment that's going to free up, but the it could open up either changing Bednarak for a defender that's got 2 nice looking home fixtures and a game in the blank. Dibbling could get swapped up to someone, but I don't know who I'd bench in that case actually. So maybe that's not a goer. But I think the team looks all right for this week. And I'm hoping now that a lot of people's assistant manager from Game Week 24 will have finished. So maybe you won't be fighting against that. But anyone left.
Yeah, the 25ers will be left.
We haven't really talked about that but we could just talk about it briefly. Let's have a quick look at the fixtures again. Who would be your go-to captain? Maresca for a potential safe one.
I mean, I quite like the, obviously West Ham, obviously Potter against Leicester. Obviously, that's not a table bonus, but
Wolves, obviously, actually against Fulham because there'll be table bonus on that.
Yep.
That would be quite a good one.
Palace again, the Glasner again against
Palace
Villa.
Get table bonus? I don't know how far up the table and how much they dropped. I'd have to look at that.
I have no idea actually.
Because I thought the teams were going to be a lot closer, and then when the kickoff, I think it was Forest against. Newcastle against Forest would have been table bonus, but then I don't think at deadline it was. So
Brighton against Bournemouth? Is that 5
Yeah.
places?
Yeah, probably would be. So there's a few. There's a few. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Spurs, City. That's a
Oh,
City
that
are
would be
like
a good table bonus as well,
5th-ish, aren't they?
actually.
And Spurs are down in like
Yeah.
10th-ish or something.
Nice. There's actually some good table bonus now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's some good options this week. I think most people will probably go Pereira to the Wolves one.
Yeah, I think I would probably do that too. Cool. All right, let's wrap it up there, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep. We managed to ramble even though we had
I know.
0 notes for this week. But yeah, hopefully it's been useful at least slightly.
Yeah. So what's... I was going to say, there's no game for a while after this mid-game week, so I think the next game week starts on 8th of March, so we'll be back on the Wednesday before that one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, hope everyone has a good game week and a nice couple of weeks,
Yep.
and we'll be back soon.
Yep, cheers all.
Bye-bye, everyone.